Everyone wants their chance at the $10,000 prize.
There's people dying in the street that never make the news. Fighting through tragedy, never more than just a bruise. When deep inside this hurt you crave, the fuel that drives your best. Let me sing you for the night. Time takes all the rest. Little love is what we need. Hope is greed, it's hard to see. Give it all for what you borrow. Talk your soul, there's no tomorrow. This greed is a word we made. Sold your soul and last mistake. Love is lost in a world of sorrow. Lost it all, there's no tomorrow. Little love is a word we need. Hope is greed, it's hard to see. Give it all for what you borrow. Sold your soul, there's no tomorrow. Little love is a word we need. Hope is greed, it's hard to see. Give it all for what you borrow. Sold your soul, there's no
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Ricky rocks, Ricky rocks. It's Ricky rocks, coming out of the box. Bitches come in flocks, trying to steal his jocks. He needs to be contained with padded rocks. It's the Ricky Rock Show, spreading like the pox. Ricky rocks, Ricky rocks. Ricky rocks, Ricky rocks, yeah. Ricky rocks, Ricky rocks. Ricky rocks, Ricky rocks, yeah. Ricky rocks up in your grill, motherfucker.
All right. Mute that and mute this. Now we are ready to roll. All right, here we are. Episode number 115 of the Ricky Rock Show right here on rocks100.com and YouTube, streaming worldwide for all of you sick, demented people out there that like listening to this every fucking Sunday.
Oh, come on. You knew if you weren't in your shoes, you would listen to whoever was doing this.
Yeah, I guess I would, but I'm sick and demented. I'm a horrible person. And we'll get into Friday later. So, yeah, I've got a killer show today. This one's a little bit different, talking about the band that we're going to be talking to later in the show. We're going to be talking to Kyle Austin from a band out of Fort Wayne, Indiana called Adrift and Skylines. You might be asking, why is this different? Because they're a brand new band. They got like 150 likes or something on Facebook, brand new band, and they play very interesting music. And I say this because there is a guitar in the band. There is a saxophone in the band.
Ooh.
And they kind of do, it kind of sounds like 80s synth pop progressive rock. Interesting kind of thing. So I was intrigued because I was like, okay, well, one, this is a brand new band. And two, this is a type of music that you don't normally hear when you're out at shows. So, you know, the blessings and pitfalls of playing something that kind of radically different. Right. You know, so I'm like, oh, this is going to be an interesting one.
Well, it's also interesting as a new band to go kind of full bore into like that genre, I guess, so to speak. But no, I'm interested.
So it's going to be super cool. Shout out to everybody out there. Chris Tucker, Sherry Claire. She's actually the one who, I guess. Okay, so Kyle hits me up. He's like, oh, dude, I'll do an interview with you guys because we lost an interview this week. Ugh, whole train wreck with that one. But he hits me up. He's like, hey, I hear you're looking for an interview for this week. And I've worked with Sherry Claire and all this stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if Sherry knows you and likes you, good enough for me. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know, usually it's, you know, bands that I know or we know, or if you won like the Pump It or Dump It Band of the Week thing, that's usually how the interview thing works out. But like I said, this week we had a bucket of yuck and drama shit. That's why we kind of had like a midweek change. So yeah, it's gonna be super cool. It wasn't any
fault of ours.
Well,
depending who you are.
Yeah. So we'll hook up with that band later on down the line once we get all that dynamics of how that band works figured out. And so it'll be super cool. And we have Beer of the Week coming up in a little bit. Our Pump It or Dump Band of the Week, band out of Orlando, Florida. They're actually playing Blue Ridge Rock Festival with us this weekend. They're going to be headlining the stage that we're playing, Dark Summer out of Orlando, Florida. We have our nuts and bolts that we're going to get into right now. Rob Surgat, what's going on, brother? Let me pull this up. There's a lot of shit to scroll through. Where the hell is it?
Crazy to think that we're going to be playing that just in
well, you're a festival
7-day time.
Yeah, in exactly 7 days.
Well, I mean, we will have played, 7 hours ago, but
okay,
6 hours or 6 days and whatever.
23 or 20.
I can't math.
20 something hours.
Exactly.
All right. So here's this week's Nuts and Bolts and Harsh Truths. This is a segment of the show where you, the Rocks 100 and the RIKKI ROXX Show listeners, send us your questions about anything having to do with anything. You can send me an email at rocks100radio@gmail.com or hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/rocks100. Send us your questions or anything you need advice about. I'm kind of pissed we haven't gotten the relationship advice yet. I keep pushing for it. Like, hey, my wife's sucking a BBC while I'm out on the road. What do I do when I come home? And be like, well, the coming's already been taken care of, so you're off the hook on that.
Why did you have to immediately go BBC? Oh my God.
Well, when the boys
you're the cuck is what you're saying.
When the boys are away, the girls will play.
Oh my Lord.
Hey, I've watched Pornhub. I see how these storylines go.
Jesus Christ.
Guy goes out to work or whatever. And
I heard you need your pipes filled.
The guy cleaning the pool or something like that. She's like, oh, man.
Esteban.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, this week's Nuts and Bolts.
That's not the kind of advice people tune in for.
Well, you never know. Maybe we get a bigger demo if we start answering those questions.
If that's the Nuts and Bolts, you literally just need to say call Brazzers. You've got a film storyline. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So this week we got a question from Billy out of Warren, Michigan. I have a question about band practices /rehearsals or whatever you want to call them. What have you found is the best way to spend your time together as a band at the band spot? Do you spend more time on the songs you already have, write new songs, or just hang out? And if inspiration strikes, pick up the guitars. Kind of curious as to how to best spend our time. Thanks. Billy from Warren.
Well, Billy, every band dynamic's kind of different. I don't know. I guess Shutter and Harlow's were sort of similar in the sense that, if we had like a show coming up, we would, depending on, the amount of time we had, we would be like, okay, is it more rock show? Is it more metal show? we need to adjust our set list. So we would kind of like formulate the right plan, switch songs around, shit like that. Typically, like for writing, at least, is depending if you're in like a touring cycle as a band or if you're just like starting out. I'm gonna just assume you're like kind of starting out or relatively new-ish. I don't know. The writing thing should kind of come naturally. I don't think you can really force it, but at some point you got to be like, hey, guitar players, like, do you have some fucking riffs? Because at that point, like, you can't do anything. You know what I mean? So it's kind of difficult to say. I don't know. Every band I've been in, the writing process kind of just happened naturally. Like, we would purposely schedule practice, be like, hey, like, let's focus on writing. And then, you know, we'd bring a couple cases of beer and like have some fucking shots and shit and then start fiddling around. But every band's different.
Well, you know, I've been in bands that have done this 100 different ways. Every single one of those bands has fallen apart, minus casting. Okay, so maybe I'm not the best person to ask, but, you know, when I was in Dirty Whiskey, when I was a lot younger, so, you know, mid-20s, early mid-20s, we'd be in the garage for like 10 hours. 60% of that would be drinking and running to the liquor store and chain smoking cigarettes. You know, that was a big chunk of it, you know, mostly very early on, you know, and that might seem counterproductive, but looking back, you know, what that did was it got us a lot closer, you know, we just talking about shit, you know. And so you kind of developed a friendship kind of thing with that and kind of find out if you can hang and shit like that.
So every band I did basically streamlined your 10 hours of drinking and partying into like 2 hours and we would write, more or less.
Yeah, it was, you know, back then, you know.
That's kind of the dynamic though, when you get in that like, you get the juices flowing, you get into that good spot. Like, who knows, you guys as a band could be talking about something and then the guitar player light bulb goes off. Oh man, fucking, I got this sweet riff that I just remembered.
Yeah, you know, it's that, you know, and we wrote a lot of songs that way. You know, were they good or were they, it doesn't really matter if they're good or bad. You know, you're getting the creative juices flowing. So it worked. You know, we came up with a shit ton of songs and we were writing, you know, on a good day, 2-3 songs a day, you know, being there for 10 fucking hours and just drinking and, you know, kind of just fiddling around, and then somebody plays something. Ooh, let's do something.
So here's the follow-up question to that. You spend 10 hours drinking and writing. What are the odds you guys remember them for next practice?
Well, we always record everything.
So that was the next point I wanted to make. If you're going the RIKKI ROXX route, make sure you pull out your smartphone and record it. Otherwise, you're fucked.
Yeah, I had a recording rig there, so I just, you know, with actually this computer, and you know, it was just, you know, I'd bring up the recording program and just have a mic sitting around. You know, it was a lot of hours of just dick jokes and shit, but you know, it worked. And you know, be like, oh, that's a cool riff or something like that, and then, you know, work on it, and you know, all these ideas, you know. And on the other end, you know, when I was in 6 Months Gone, that didn't work, that formula, because it turned into
6 months and you're gone.
It turned into a bunch of pot smoking and conspiracy theories, and guitar and music was
the Earth is flat. This next song's called Earth is Flat.
You know, and it was just like a lot of dumb ideas came up where it's like, hey, what if all the guitar players just put our guitars down and rapped? Let's do a rap song where it's just drum and bass. I'm like, that's the dumbest idea you fuckers have ever had. And they're like, come on, man, we got to switch it up. I'm like, okay, all right, let's just go over the old shit. You know, so with that said, you know, like Kevin was talking about, it kind of depends on what you got coming up. You know, with casting, you know, the last last 2 weeks, you know, we pretty much were just like, yo, what are we playing at Blue Ridge?
Right.
Throw the rest of the songs off the counter right now. We'll get to them after this.
Well, and we're throwing a new guitar player in the mix too. So.
Yeah, so it's like, let's just boom, 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 5 songs, rep it as many times as we can. Yeah, I have a couple beers and hang out a little bit, but, you know, it depends on what you got going on. You know, a New Day, you know, that worked a lot different than either of those two. You know, it'd be pretty much like Drew would just have an idea, or Law would have an idea, and we'd kind of just, you know, okay, that's a cool riff, let's work on it. And we'd sit down, and even if the juices weren't flowing with one of us, be like, okay, well, let's work it as much as we can, and we'll come back to it later. So
that was a lot of what Harlow did. Like, you know, we would start working on something, and then maybe Lauren couldn't come up with the right like vocal pattern or lyrics, And then, oh, well, we were also working on that other song. Like, let's table that one. So, you know, every band dynamic's a little bit different. I mean, me personally, I wish I was in a band where, like, the singer and the guitar player actually came to practice with shit, like, at least kind of figured out.
Yeah.
I feel like most serious bands kind of typically do that, but
kind of have that one guy who's the main artistic driver.
Like, for instance, even when Danny was like, yeah, sometimes I like to have the drummer just start. And I'm like,
no.
Where the fuck do I start? Like, do I just start doing blast beats? Do I fucking, you know what I mean? Like, for me, that's just really difficult. I don't know. Like, there was a few times where, like, Alex would come to practice with a riff.
Yeah.
And I think I got this, like, chorus for it, too. And then, boom, next thing you know, we have a song.
Yeah, the thing where it's like, you know, the idea behind the, you know, whoever being like, all right, just lay down a beat or something like that. Then they'll start fiddling around until they stumble on something. And then in theory, the drummer's like, okay, that's kind of cool, but this beat would work a lot better. Right. And then the bass player or other guitar player would be like, okay, this would be a cool part to put on top of it. And then be like, oh, well, I can refine this part, you know, and go through it in just a fucking cesspool of garbage.
Well, and then the real problem you run into is when the guitar players are writing their solos. Because then it's them doing the dueling guitar shit. And then we're trying to talk, hold on. And it's just like fucking shred fest for like 30 fucking minutes. And that's typically when we would grab our beers and go outside.
Yeah.
And like we'd be in the garage and you could just hear Alex and Steve just shredding. And we would come back down and be like, hey, and they're just fucking ridiculous.
Oh, I forgot we were working on a song.
Yeah, no.
Just kind of just
and then we'd be like, hey, let's start from the top. Oh, shit, I don't remember the riff. I've had that happen too many times.
So to Billy, you know, there's a lot of ways to go about doing it. It's kind of just trial and error, find your way, and, you know.
At the end of the day, like, everyone that's in a band at a certain point, it kind of turns into you and your buddies. And you should be able to hang out with you and your buddies.
Yeah.
And then you kind of figure out, okay, that person's always going to be late, so we're going to do this. You know, like
Jeff Land.
Yeah. You kind of figure out how to just work around all the other bullshit.
Yeah. All right. So that was our nuts and bolts and harsh truths. Like I said, if you have a question, send it to us, rocks100@gmail.com, or hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/rocks100. And while you're here watching this, make sure you smash that like and subscribe and
smash it
and notifications, because this is an analytic that I was digging around, because you know, I like looking at analytics and numbers and shit, and it shows you how many people are watching it that are subscribed versus non-subscribed. There's more people watching this that haven't liked or subscribed and all this shit.
That's how
people,
almost every YouTuber I watch is.
Like, son of a bitch, just subscribe.
See, I personally, like, I kind of get the not subscribing part. Like, there's a certain kind of person or peoples that will just be like, oh, I have free time, I'll type in whatever. But like for me, since there's a lot of automotive stuff that I like watching, I'm not sitting there like, I get the notification on my phone they got a new video.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Next time I'm on the couch, that's the first thing I'm going to look for.
Yeah.
I don't know. People are fucking weird.
Well, the way I figured it is like, yo, if you like this show, it's pretty much the same show every fucking week.
I swear to God.
You know, we're doing the same exact shit. It's not like I'm a computer guy.
No, I know. But
and then
I feel
and I'm just like looking for how to put in Intel Core 9 processor. I'm not going to subscribe, because then you start seeing all this dumb crap about
like
LED
people
lights.
Have commitment issues to where they can't even subscribe to a YouTube channel, because then it's going to flood their whole thing.
It's not going to flood.
I know.
I don't throw a shit ton of videos up there. That is the line of
thinking of them.
Okay, so if you like and subscribe, this is what'll happen. Once a week, you'll get a video.
Bing.
That's it. I'm not throwing up shit tons of content and 12 videos a fucking week. You're not going to get bombarded by it. Don't worry about it. I don't have that kind of work ethic.
Don't forget to shop RIKKIROXX.com. No, I'm just kidding.
I do need to have a thing like that. So speaking of which, we do actually have some t-shirts. I do have to reorder some. I'm running out of some sizes. But the Rocks 100 t-shirts, you can see it up in the corner, way over on the other side of the screen, but it's over there. Hit up rocks100.com. Check out the gift shop. We have the original Rocks 100 t-shirt. That is there as well. And what else is there? Oh, if you're in the Metro Detroit area and you want to come party with Casting Shadows, we still have those bus trip tickets. We've sold a couple of them through Rocks 100. And so head on over there if you want to party with Casting Shadows. Going to see Puddle of Mud on their, I think it's 20th anniversary of whatever their big record was.
Fuck, 20 years? Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yeah. I know. So head on over, check it out. And you can, and we also stream, live or music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you're into independent music and all that, just hit the damn play button. If it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're like me, who binge drinks on a Friday night after seeing Stone Temple Pilots, turn on rocks100.com.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Who wants to hear, fucking...
Even flow. Again.
Jesus. I had a good one on deck, but that one's even better. Steve Engel says in Rocks 100 even ships to Canada. So if you're our neighbors to the north, we got your back.
Yeah, even and shipping for the t-shirts is $6, no matter where you live and how much it's going to cost me to ship it international.
Let's get Brazil on there, because I've had to ship to Brazil before.
How much was that?
Not cheap.
Not fun.
And it took 9 months for it to get there. It was stuck in customs for like 6 months. Jesus. I felt so terrible because the person ordered like $150 worth of Shudder stuff. Like multiple CDs, shirts, fucking the whole 9 yards. So like I shipped it out. I saw it went through different customs. It got into Brazil and it just fucking sat there.
Yeah.
Forever and ever. And the person's like, yeah, like, can you tell me? I'm like, here's the tracking number. Like, you can look it up. I don't know. Maybe if they didn't have like a smartphone or like a computer. Yeah. So I was like, here's a screenshot because they were messaging me through Facebook. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like 9 months later, like, oh, hey, it just got delivered. I'm like, holy fuck.
Jesus. And
we broke up like a year ago.
And if you want that Shudder CD too, this is what I'm doing now since I have all those CDs upstairs.
Oh, you're just throwing them in?
I'm just throwing them in. There was one guy, because I don't check it every fucking day, orders and shit. And there was one order I got. It was going to North Carolina.
Robert, Canada's only to the south of Detroit. They are technically our neighbors to the north.
They're north too. Canada's up there.
He's just being a smartass.
Yeah, well.
As you were.
So, I just happened to check out the orders and I saw I had an order like, it was a couple weeks ago, but it was like 3 weeks ago. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And he's like hitting me up on PayPal and all this shit. But everything is withheld. And be like, I haven't gotten my son. I'm like, bro, I am so sorry. I don't check it every day. I just happened to have nothing to do. So I checked. If you still want it, totally cool. He's like, oh, yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch base with you and all that. I'm like, well, for the, the inconvenience of it being this late, I'm like, what do I have that I can throw in here extra?
Shudder CDs.
So I'm like, I threw a Shudder CD in there. I think I threw a Mound Road Engine CD in there. I'm like, dude, I get this guy some stuff that
Ricky's
you can check out.
Ricky's pawning off all of his past band shit.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, I wish I could have found those Dirty Whiskey CDs. I would have thrown 4 of them in there, and so, guy's like, dude, super cool. You didn't have to, and I threw some stickers and shit in there and pins, and so we got a bunch of shit. So I'm gonna start doing that now. So you order a T-shirt, with shipping, it's
like a mystery box.
Yeah,
the RIKKI ROXX mystery box.
The Rocks box.
The Rocks box.
So it's like for $16, that's with shipping and handling and all that. You get a T-shirt, and I'll just throw some shit that I don't want anymore.
Why don't we just advertise it as that? Because that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I should. Yeah.
You should write that down.
I should write that down. So speaking of rock stars,
Steve actually said, do you have any Dirty Whiskey CDs left?
I got them. They're somewhere. That I was in that band like.
Steve, are you sure you want to subject yourself to that kind of torture?
It was like a fucking decade ago, and then when the band broke up, I just threw them in a random box, and on the bottom of like other random shit, because I had like one size box. So I'm like, this can just be a crap box, and it's probably sitting on top of my garage. The CDs are probably warped as fuck. But.
So for the graphic, can you make the Rocks box look like the Taco Bell box kind of like advertisement? Because dude, you laugh, but literally people will probably just think, oh, Taco Bell, I'm going to get that.
And that was, I had an idea of doing this, a long time ago, of doing like a box, if you order, something over a certain point, you'll just get a box of shit. But I was like,
not literal shit.
Well, depending on what you think of Shudder, So, but I was like, oh man, it would be kind of cool, if I just hit up bands and be like, yo, can you send me like 10 CDs and I'll pay you like, what they cost you, like $2 or whatever. And I'll send you $20, send me 10 CDs, and I'll, somebody might discover your band kind of thing. And I'm like, I don't have enough ambition to do this, because my wife would fucking kill me if all of a sudden she comes home and there's like 20 boxes of band CDs there, and then she's like, where the fuck are you gonna put all this shit? Nobody orders that many damn T-shirts. You're gonna have to mail out 20 CDs with every fucking T-shirt to get rid of this shit. So I'm like, yeah, good idea, good call. So didn't do that.
Sometimes the ideas sound really good in your head.
Yeah.
And then you put it to paper and you're like, ugh.
Yeah. So that unless people start buying massive amounts of shit, maybe that'll have to hold off for a little bit. I have grand.
We got to get them
ambitions.
subs up first.
Yeah. So hit
So
that.
tell all your friends.
Tell all your friends. So speaking of big rock stars that play in front of more people than watch this show, Kevin Razlog, the big superstar rock icon mogul, another festival show. 2 in 2 weeks.
Yeah. About to be a threefer.
Yeah. This guy's just plays festivals in the summer now.
What can I
Arts,
say?
Beats, and Eats, the biggest, outdoor festival in Southeast Michigan, probably in the whole state, I'm guessing, with George in Need, featuring Razlog Kevin as Mary Gallivanters of Ecstatic Gourmandizers.
We were actually trying to get Ricky to announce us.
You guys didn't have a long enough set list or set time. So how was it, man? And the second festival, 2 weeks. A couple weeks ago, Uncle Cracker, thousands of people. Arts,
Yeah.
Beats, and Eats. Let's talk about it.
No, it was fun. I think this is like the third or fourth year I've played it. So yeah, I've never had any issues or a bad time playing it. The crowd this year was a little bit lighter, but I mean, it was still a damn good crowd. I mean, they were really loud. There was like all those little kids up in the front. They were like losing their shit. Well, they were all like air drumming, and I was like, oh, cool. They think I'm good. Like that's awesome. But no, great show. The sound was good. No fucking complaints here, man. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Stuff got out, to finally come to a show.
I had a word with her when I saw that she was out. I'm like, oh, so she'll come out for a George in Need show, but Casting Shadows, no. She won't go see that band.
It's not that.
She's like, I hear you in my basement every time you guys practice. I know how you sound. And I'm like, fair enough. I get a concert 2 times a week. So I'm like,
No, she gets a concert like 4 times a week
So I'm like,
because
alright.
between both bands, we've been practicing like twice each.
Yeah.
No, I mean, she, like I've told you before, she just doesn't like being around a lot of fucking people. And I can't really say I fault her. The whole COVID shit kind of makes her even less interested in going out. And then like Lapeer days, she wasn't feeling good. And I was like, dude, it was so fucking humid.
Yeah.
You would have been miserable the entire time.
Yeah.
So, dude, if she ain't feeling well, I'm not going to force her to fucking go. She's an adult, but I don't want her to feel like shit.
Yeah, she was talking. She's like, this is the worst time of the year for my allergies when fall comes.
Dude, her
I'm like,
allergies, man.
Dude, I have allergies, but fall never did shit to me. It was always like from winter going into spring and things start pollinating. That's when I'm like, oh, no bueno.
She like broke her nose a few times and something with it's like fucked up to where like anytime it's about to rain, she'll get a sinus headache.
Yeah.
And then as it's raining, it gets even worse. And then when it's done raining, it kind of tapers off.
Yeah, she was saying how she had like a deviated septum and all this. I'm like, oh, so in New York doing a bunch of blow, huh? Big piles of that shit in your partying day. She's like, no, Ricky. And I'm like, all right.
She played field hockey. But either way, like it rained, 28 out of 30 days in June?
Yeah. Fucking horrible.
Yeah, dude, like she was fucking miserable half the time because of the goddamn weather.
It's fucking horrible. You got to mow your lawn like every fucking week.
Well, and the one thing that's funny is like when she went to Florida and even I think when she went to Texas being closer to the ocean with all the salt and shit,
Yeah.
she's perfectly fine. Like she
Jeez.
has those salt lamps like all over the house and
Yeah.
shit. Apparently it helps.
So in New York, she wasn't having any of these problems because you're by the fucking ocean and shit there.
True. When she lived in PA, there was actually a salt cave, apparently, like near where she lived. And she was like, yeah, as soon as it's underground, obviously.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, man, like my headache and everything went
So
away.
now, if you guys ever move again, you have to talk to your real estate agent. Okay, so we need a place by a salt mine.
No, the whole basement's going to have to get renovated into a fucking salt mine.
We need a salt mine within a couple miles of here. We need salty air. It has to be dry. And the real estate agent would be like, I can get you a pool. You can put chlorine
You
in
trying
there.
to move to Dubai? No, I mean, like, she's came to so many shows over the years. I give her a pass for, especially if she's not feeling well.
So there it is.
So, yeah.
Chris says, hey, Shutter rules. Shutter's going to be playing. Oh, do I still have this?
November 27th.
Do I still have it up? Yes, I do still have it up. There it is. Shudder, you can see them right here in Metro Detroit, the Kelly Tucker Celebration of Life, going on November 27th at the Crowfoot Ballroom in Pontiac, Michigan. I don't have it written down, so I'm going all off the top of my head because a lot of it's chopped off. But anyway, Kiss and Candace could be headlining that one. Suffer It Down, Casting Shadows, Influence, Wisher, Reject the Silence. I got it. I can.
Okay, just making sure. You gotta be pro, man.
Yeah. Crafted Conviction special performances by Shudder and Stone Clover. It's not on there, but I guess I'm going to host that thing too.
Oh.
At least I'm supposed to. I don't know. I'm going to show up, and either way, I'll be on stage at some point. Hopefully, if I don't get fired between now and Thanksgiving. So yeah, super cool. Tickets are on sale now. You can look on Facebook for the event page. I heard that it's now live.
Okay.
So you can
I'm sure there's something on the Crowfoot too.
Yeah, you can get your pre-sale tickets. So get them. $20 pre-sale. Don't be fucking lazy because then you got to spend an extra $5. Laziness does not pay unless you're... Your laziness will pay an extra $5, but so that's the thing. Check it out. So what else is going on, man?
Oh, things and stuff. I had a pretty eventful week.
Yeah. Money bags. Let's talk about this money bags Razlog.
I wouldn't even go that far.
He's a high flying, job hopping motherfucker.
Hey, man. Everyone else is doing it.
New 65-inch TV, new TV stand, just because.
Well, it wasn't just because. Our shit was, old and dying.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, I got Steph a new car.
Yeah.
As an early birthday gift.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a pretty good week.
I think the last car I got as a birthday gift was a 1984 Ford F-150 that my dad bought for, $350.
Mine was slightly a little bit more than $350, but...
There's a couple zeros added to that.
No, it was just really funny because I watched a Doug DeMuro video. For the listeners, if you haven't seen, I got Steph a Hyundai Santa Cruz. It's their small city truck that came out fucking 2-3 weeks ago. So anyways, I was watching that video. I was like, man, that's a really cool looking vehicle. And I was like, it actually checks a lot of our boxes. It's got all-wheel drive, which is nice for our winters and shit.
It's a foreign car.
That's not a prerequisite.
It kind of is.
I just happen to hate Stellantis and Ford, and I don't really like a ton of GM stuff. So, I mean, how many other options are there?
Rivian.
I ain't got that fuck you money, bro. So anyways, basically, her ECU failed when she was leaving work, and I went and got her another one. Put it on the car. She made it home from work fine, drove it for a few days. And then I was actually just doing some work on the brakes and boom, it fucking ate it again. So I was like, okay, we can't have you driving to work or even go grocery shopping and come out and the car is fucking dead.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not getting rid of it. I need to have a good ECU that works, which I have.
Kevin gets a new project car.
And then I want to have at least a spare in the unlikely or unfortunate event where it dies and you're out doing something.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to go start buying fucking ECUs and flashing them. I was like, well, let's just get you a reliable car and we'll take our time with it.
Kevin finishes one project car. He's like, oh, we're keeping this one. Another project car. Gonna soup this motherfucker up.
So, so she had actually the whole week off from work because her doctor went on vacation or whatever. So she was like, oh, the one dealer by our house, they have two of them. I was like, hey, I already really like the car, so let's go fucking look at it.
Yeah.
So we drove up there. They actually they only got two in. They sold the one, which the one was the really high trim, and it was fucking way more expensive. And we just test drove it, and she was like, I want it. And I was like, well, let's fucking make it happen, because I really liked it. I thought it was a cool ass car.
See, when we went and got Nikki's car, it wasn't anything like that. It was like, yo, can you afford this? Because my motherfucking ass can't. So either you gotta get a better job or start hitting up those used car lots. And she's like, I guess I'm paying for it.
So my experience actually for most automakers that are domestic, I've had a number of them, you can't afford to drive our vehicles.
No shit.
Yeah. 3 of them were actually Chrysler dealerships. And I was like, motherfucker, I build these cars.
Yeah.
Gonna tell me I can't afford this shit.
Yeah.
No, they were just assholes. And I even actually, when I worked there, I told my boss, I was like, that's the main reason why I won't drive our cars.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not the first person to say that. He's like, our dealership network is fucking terrible. But that's another story for another day. But no, I mean, like, Steph had Hyundais before I met her. She was the reason why I got my Elantra. That car's been absolutely fucking fantastic. And yeah, we've gotten a lot of looks in the Santa Cruz driving it around. People are like, what the fuck is that? That thing's cool.
It looks like a small Chevy Avalanche.
I can kind of see the Avalanche thing a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, you got like a mini Avalanche.
It's comparable to the Maverick, but the Maverick looks, it's just plain as fuck, like a boxy truck. I like for a work truck, if it was like cheap as shit, no radio, roll down windows. Yeah. Okay, cool. But like ours has like a lot of nice tech features and it wasn't expensive. So works for me.
I'm jealous. Steve Engel says, my Hyundai Sonata was built in, wait for it, Alabama.
Yeah, they got a plant in Alabama.
See, the reason I shit on a lot of foreign companies is because they're all in the South, non-union. So they get paid like $12 an hour to sit on the fucking line. That's why I kind of shit on them. You know, they have like, I think there's a Nissan plant down there. There's a Toyota plant down there and, you know, Hyundai and I'm sure Mitsubishi and all those other foreign pieces of shit are built in Alabama. You know, Rob Sturgott had a question. As a promoter, do you prefer pre-sale tickets or people showing up at the door and making money?
Both are good. Shit.
Ideally, you know, if there were 100 people that were going to show up to the show, I'd rather have them buy them pre-sale because then I wouldn't be all like, you know, the promoter jitters, you know, like, oh man, people better show up at the door because I got to pay these bands. You know, if I see, yo, got 100 pre-sale tickets, I can show up to the show and I'm like, fuck, made the money. You know,
so even if those 100 people bail,
so
band still gets paid. Ricky still gets paid. You
know, but as a band, you know, no. If I'm playing like one of those ticket sale show bits, you know, Steven Adler or Puddle of Mud or something like that, no, buy it from the band. You know, don't go through e-tix or I was gonna say Ticketmaster, but
we're not that big, dude. Shit.
You know, buy it from the bands if you can because that helps the bands out a lot more. But yeah, as a promoter, I'd much rather have the pre-sales. You know, if somebody's gonna either show up at the door or buy pre-sale, I'd rather have pre-sales. So Patty, Subaru. Okay, we're talking about. Okay, we're moving on. So yeah,
you see what happens whenever you ask me about what's going on in my life.
Yeah, we get stuck.
It kills the numbers and nobody.
Well, you talk about your foreign jobs, and then I go on a little tirade about how much I hate those fucking low-paying shitheads.
Mr. $1.8 billion recall over here. They may be only paying $12 an hour. At least the cars aren't exploding because of their shit batteries.
Well, think of it this way. That $1.8 billion recall, I'm getting paid more sitting on my ass than those guys actually huffing it on the line at the Subaru plant in fucking Greenbow, Alabama. Fucking Forrest Gump.
That's America.
Fucking Forrest Gump working down there. So yeah, my weekend, you know, I went out to go see Kevin Razlog featuring George Need because, you know, all the kids wanted to be a fucking drummer.
It was hilarious. I saw you walking up from like 100 feet away. I was like, oh my God. I was like, there's Ricky, and Stuff's like, where? And I'm like, right there. She's like, oh, he doesn't have his makeup and shit on. I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah. So I showed up, you know, I wanted to see, you know, I posted a thing on the video. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm kind of like a cuck. I like watching my drummer cheat on me with another band. You know, I want to watch it, you know, so rather than on video, I want to see it in real life.
Well, you saw the Lapeer Days picture, so I'm sure you were trying to like vicariously live through me for that.
You know, watching
I helped him carry his shit on stage for that show.
Well,
I was practically a part of the band.
Watching it on Facebook is the equivalent of going on Pornhub and seeing your girlfriend banging that BBC and watching it. You know, so you're kind of cucking through. Okay, I'm not going into this, but anyway, saw Kevin play. You know, hung out with you, Steph, and some of Steph's friends and shit like that, and then you guys dipped out, and I'm like, oh shit, Night is Young, Stone Temple Pilots, homeboy Jeff Goot, you know, singing for him.
You were giddy like a little schoolboy.
Well, Stone Temple Pilots I've loved Stone Temple Pilots for years.
No, I know, but like I don't think I've seen you that giddy for a show.
And it was free. Well,
relatively free.
After you pay the $15 for parking and the $10 to get in, you know, $25 to get in there to see your ass in Stone Temple Pilots. So I went, you know, I was by myself, you know, you guys had all left and all this shit. So I'm like, okay, now Ricky can fucking let loose and play. because I didn't want to get too tanked and embarrass you in front of Steph's friends and be like, God, who's this fucking drunk guy hanging out with you, So
Yeah, they're the ones talking about going and playing trivia and getting smashed.
yeah,
I think you're fine.
yeah. So saw Stone Temple Pilots, Jeff Goot, he's a Detroit boy, and fucking killed it, did awesome. And, I was way in the back because there's like 30,000 people or some shit there. And luckily right behind me was the cocktail tent. And it said limit 2 per person. So I'm like, okay.
I can fit one in both hands.
Yeah, it's like there's nobody here I have to impress. I can look like a drunken idiot just walking around with 2 fucking drinks. So I did that 3 fucking times. So I had 6 fucking cocktails, small little glasses, about half filled with Jim Beam and Coke. And
these are for seasoned veterans.
Yeah, I had a great time. And then I posted something on Facebook. I'm like, yo, who's anybody hanging out, Arts Beats and Eats, figure somebody be out there. Phil, I was in a quote unquote band with him for a year, didn't write a song, but I was in a quote unquote
Let's refer
band
back to the nuts and bolts.
And, him and his girl, Stacy, we met up at Gusling Alley and a little promo for them since they gave me free stickers because I spent so much. Gusling Alley in Royal Oak, Michigan.
What are those $100 stickers you got there?
Pretty close. No.
See, you're calling me money bags.
No,
there's a huge difference here.
I didn't spend that. I didn't spend that much there because it was like fucking packed. The show's over, so everybody's going to the bars and shit. So I had a couple drinks there. I think we had a shot or 2 of Jameson. And I had a Jack and Coke and
no food.
No. I actually didn't. That's right. I didn't get any food.
I didn't eat at all that whole day.
Well, I
was on the liquid diet.
Well, I came home and.
I even offered to buy you some food when we were there.
Well, I know. I'm not going to fucking mooch off my rich friends, So, came home and.
He uses that term very loosely.
Well.
By rich, having like
comparatively
an extra
speaking,
$100.
Comparatively speaking to what my bank balance looks like, you're fucking Trump, man.
I didn't lie on my tax. No, I'm just kidding. Let's not get into that.
Okay, so, went and hung out and then came home, talked to Nikki for a little bit, scarfed down some cold pizza. So I did eat. And
you turned down that nice pizza food truck that I went to for cold pizza.
It was Marco's Pizza, man. I love Marco's.
Okay, that's fair.
And so came back down here and, down
as long as it wasn't Alfredo's Pizza Cafe.
Oh, what was the other one?
Pizza by Alfredo.
Yeah. So came back down here, and for first time in a long time, I had some Rogue beers in the fridge, which is, you've seen my fridge. It's very empty because it's
like a variety pack of like the
hot sauces.
No, the clearance shelf.
Yeah. Well,
like if when you go to Target, they have the random clearance shelves on the corner. Picture that, but with just like a year's worth of beers of the weeks that like just weren't good enough to make the cut, or just random shit I left around.
Yeah. So there was a couple, beers of the week that we didn't finish, so I'd throw them in the fridge. So I'm like, oh shit, I got like 4 beers down here. So I'm like, dude, let's
one's a nitro, one's 18%, one's like a smoothie.
Yeah, things you don't do. You're not supposed to mix all these different kind of beers. But Rikki ROXX, your boy. I'm 10 drinks deep and
you got
drove
a full
home.
belly full of cold pizza too.
Yeah, so I'm like, let's fucking do this shit. So I'm sitting down here watching videos and stuff, drinking these random beers, and then next thing I know, Nikki's come down here and my daughter's coming down. Like she's like, hey, I'm making breakfast for the kids. Would you like anything? I'm like, oh shit, what time is it? 10 a.m. I'm like, ooh, I gotta go to bed. So yesterday did absolutely nothing. Tonight I got asked if I wanted to go see Soulfly. I'm like, oh no.
Never been a fan.
Yeah, so that's going on a Diesel. I'm like, I doubt I'll go. I'll probably end up going.
I was just about to say, watch, we're gonna end the show on time, so Rikki can fucking head to the Diesel.
I gotta go watch fucking, what's his name, Des Cavalera or something like that from whatever the fuck his name is in Soulfly. Okay, so we're gonna move along. We're coming up 7:45 already. They had garlic candied bacon. Anyone get brave and try that?
I didn't even see that. Steph and I were starving when we got there, and there was like this. It was a food truck. It was like Big D's Detroit something or other, and they had a nice menu, but like we just kind of wanted something real quick and like something to get in our bellies. So they had fucking Philly cheesesteak egg rolls, and then they had like a chicken something other egg roll.
Yeah,
and it was like 2 for $10. I'm like, well, fuck it, we'll get that. They were absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I just needed to get something in my stomach before we played. And then after we played, we indulged in a couple beverages, and then I got hungry again, and then we went to that pizza place. But yeah, no, there were so many fucking food trucks. Like, I almost wanted to go again the next day to see Ava, and then to obviously indulge in a bunch of fucking food.
Yeah.
But other things took priority, unfortunately.
Yeah, for me, my priority was sleeping off the worst hangover I've had in probably a year.
That'll happen.
So I was like, I'll see Ava.
I'm waiting to see you at Blue Ridge. You're going down what, Thursday?
I think so.
So you're gonna party Friday, Saturday, and then we play early as shit Sunday.
I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna have the funds to fucking party because I've been off work.
Rikki says that now. We're gonna see him by the gate entrance with like a fucking sign that he drew on with a Sharpie, like HJ's for beers and shit.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. No. It's gonna be a lot, and the drinks are gonna be very expensive. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I've been off I haven't worked in 2 fucking weeks, and
So you know the way to get around that, right?
Bring your own. I know.
Yeah.
I know. All right, Patty Kish is taking on. Take it easy, Patty Kish. I haven't done it. I had to do it. All right, so we're going to get to our Pump It or Dump It Band of the Week. Like I said at the top of the show, this is a band that is actually going to be playing Blue Ridge Rock Festival this upcoming Sunday. I don't remember exactly what time, but they're headlining the Heart Sports stage, the same stage Casting Shadows will be playing at 1:05 p.m.
Mark it on your calendars, ladies and gents.
Yeah, get down there. It's going to be super cool. Don't mind all the ticketing issues that they seem to be having. Ugh. So yeah, this band's from Orlando, Florida. If you're a fan of A Killer's Confession, Lydia Can't Breathe, Head PE, and Tantric, you might be into this band. They put out this new this song called Bender about 10 months ago, so I don't know if it's really new, but
it's newish.
They have an album, Full Circle. It was released in 2017, and I was looking on their Facebook page. It seems they're looking for a new singer. So if you're in the Orlando area, hit them up. They're looking for a singer. Facebook.com/Dark Summer Official. Some info on these guys. Dark Summer, an American modern metal band formed back in 2011. So they are in their 10-year anniversary here in Orlando, Florida. The band's debut album, Full Circle, is released in 2017. And since then, they've released a steady stream of singles. Dark Summer will be headlining the Heart Sports stage at Blue Ridge Rock Festival on Sunday, September 12th. Last week, we had Mag Dillon out of Virginia Beach and their song Pawns. Got 55 votes. I have been in contact with them. We're going to set up an interview with them. So super cool. So we're going to get into this. Let me pull that up. Dark Summer, their song Bender. And when we come back, Beer of the Week. And then I got to get Zoom set up. And we're going to talk to Kyle Austin from the Fort Wayne, Indiana band Adrift and Skylines. So super cool. Need to throw this out too. This week we did reintroduce the Rock's 100 Most Requested Songs. It's not a show. It's just pretty much a graphic. Now. So super cool. The top 20, cast your votes, rocks100.com/request. And at the top of the show, we played last week's number 1 song. If I can see way over there, Reverend Jack and their song Greed. We played that at the top of the show. So that's what I'm going to do. The start off the Rikki ROXX Show from here on out. The number 1 most requested song will be played at the top of the show.
Good idea.
So this is Dark Summer, their song Bender. Will be right back after this. Episode number 115 of the Rikki ROXX Show, rocks100.com.
It's hard to find what's dead inside when the chemicals are what decide. One that'll make you think again. This battle you can never win. First taste is like adrenaline. Surrender, used to the feelings render. This pain you cannot measure. Indulging in the pleasure. Bender, cut to the nerve to sever. It's everything I treasure. Stop lying in the never. from limb. You can try, never thought I would redefine, throw me to the wolves, throw me to the wolves. I'll be fine, rip me then from limbs. You can try, never thought I would redefine, throw me to the wolves.
Yeah. Now I gotta mute that again. Mute that again. It's a thing. All right, that was Pump It or Dump Band of the Week. We had Dark Summer. You saw a video for their song Bender. Head on over to facebook.com/rocks100. Find the Pump It or Dump It Band of the Week image. Give it the big thumbs up if you dig it, or give it the poop face if you didn't like it. So super cool. Check them out,
And you said
facebook.com.
they were looking to replace their vocalist?
They are looking for, I just saw it on their Facebook page like a couple days ago.
You know, normally, like, when I hear that, it's like, oh, that doesn't sound well, but
No.
their singer's voice, while it was good, don't get me wrong, I thought the band was really good. It's not like that unique, like, Breaking Benjamin or whatever that I feel would be, like, hard to replicate. So, overall, I thought it was good stuff, though. I liked it.
Very cool. So there it is. So yeah, head on over, do your thing. Hanging out. I threw out in the chat, how y'all doing? Any big plans for the weekend? Chris Tucker, she says, yeah, trying to keep my internet from going out twice now since the show started.
Damn.
Lots of fun. Hopefully it's not our problem. Hopefully it's just your internet.
Yeah, our stream's looking good.
You got any big plans for the weekend?
No, not particularly.
Just hanging out?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, nothing really. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's so much going on between both the bands, and then we got the Shudder reunion, and then the Harlow reunion. So I'm kind of like.
Have you guys practiced yet, Harlow? No. Okay.
I basically said everything's gonna be on kind of a hold till Blue Ridge, because obviously that's important. But it's like we did Lapeer Days, and then
Oh my God.
you are a sloppy mess.
What the hell's going on here?
I remember my first pour. No, so I mean, you know, we had Lapeer Days, Arts Beats Neats, and then, you know, we had our little run, and then we're doing Blue Ridge, so
It's like I'm pissing myself.
that's got to be a drop. So yeah, no, I mean, like, I got all the other bullshit around the house kind of shored up, like with the lawn and, you know, all the other bullshit, so.
I got cucked by my beard.
I'm gonna milk the last, 2 weeks of working from home.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I ain't doing shit for the weekend because I gotta be sober because my daughter starts school on Tuesday. So I'm like, I don't want to go drop her off at school being like, I gotta wait.
So why did you get sober? I gotta drop my daughter off at school today.
Well, it's like it's a thing, we always do the picture and all this shit, and it's like, oh fuck, I gotta be up at fucking 8 o'clock in the morning, so ain't nothing happening.
So
Ricky
Steve
Rocks.
Ingalls said, annual Labor Day game, Canadian Football League, Toronto Argonauts versus Hamilton Tigers. Now, is that football, or football, soccer?
No, it's the CFL.
Oh, okay.
That's where if you can't play in the NFL, you go to Canada and you play there.
A guy I went to high school with that played on the varsity hockey team that I played on,
Yeah.
he was in the CFL for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's where.
I mean, that still afforded him like a pretty decent pay and shit,
You get paid decently. I mean, you're not making the millions and millions like you are playing the NFL.
Yeah, but poutine, baby.
But, Canadian dollars, they might be millionaires in Canada.
Oh, yeah, that too.
So, all right, so we're getting into beer of the week here. This week, another one from Austin Brothers Beer Company out of Alpena, Michigan.
Have we had any Austin Brothers that were like not good? I know we had the
Probably.
smoothie one.
We've
had quite a few.
Yeah, I haven't updated the beer of the week database on the website in a long time. So,
And by database, it's a spreadsheet.
well,
He just tries to sound fancy. The servers are down. The servers are down. No, it's just your fucking computer, bro.
it's okay. So a spreadsheet. So yeah, it's like an Excel spreadsheet,
Yeah.
pretty much. Austin Brothers Beer Company out of Alpena, Michigan. They're crazy about a Murcury New England IPA. This is a 7.2 ABV, 52 IBUs. I kind of want to get a little bit back on track. The last couple of weeks, we've tried sours and shit like that.
Yeah.
Raz, not a fan. Quick description on this one. A New England style IPA with Galaxy, Mosaic, and Motueka hops Well, if I had money, I'd tell you what I'd do. I'd go downtown and buy a Murcury or two. It was an old Murcury car commercial. That's what the thing was. So I'm like, oh, that's lame.
I kind of dig it, like kind of like the throwback. This would have been good for the Dream Cruise.
There you go. So yeah, I picked this up for $16 after taxes. I actually went and got this one myself today because Nikki didn't get home in time. And I'm like, I need beer, damn it. And so nothing.
DoorDash.
So it's
like $85 to get a fucking six pack.
It's like there's an app now where you can get beer delivered and shit like that. I'm afraid to try it because that might be
dangerous.
A very dangerous thing to have alcohol
delivered.
On demand.
Well, my buddy actually did that shit in college.
Yeah.
So he originally started off, they had these things, they were legitimately called like the drunk bus, and you would call them up anytime, their hours weren't the same like Monday through like Wednesday, but Thursday through Sunday, it was like 6 p.m. to like 6 a.m. You could get a ride anywhere. So he was driving for them, making decent money, and he's like, you know what? I should just do this where I deliver like cigarettes and beer. And then he just started doing that, fucking quit that job, and was just delivering cigarettes and beer.
And now it's like a legit thing.
Well, he just did it because he was like, people want it.
Yeah.
I don't drink, I don't smoke.
So is he doing like handing out flyers and shit around campus? Hey, you're low on beer during your party? Call me.
It started off with word of mouth because I worked with him at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I remember a few times it was like fucking 1:30, and I texted, hey bro, can you run to Walmart? We need like 2 fucking kegs. Like, so oh, don't worry bro, I got you. And yeah, like after that, he made it sound like business was booming. So I have no idea what happened to him, but it was a great idea.
He's still up there. He's doing the same. He's doing the same damn thing. 40 years old, delivering beer to a bunch of underage kids.
I mean, at the end of the day, it was a great idea.
Now there's an app, and they make millions doing it.
Yep.
So, Kevin, what are you thinking of this one? Crazy Bout a Murcury by Austin Brothers. What do you think of this one?
It's actually pretty good. Like at the first couple sips, I was kind of on the fence. I don't know if that's just like the Mosaic and the Motueka hops, that it's just something different that maybe hasn't come across my palate. I like the color and the like flavor and the mouthfeel, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah, it's smooth. It's definitely fucking different, but not in a bad way. I think I've never really had anything that tasted similar to this, so it's kind of like, it's new.
Yeah. What do you give this on a scale of 1 to 10?
You talk first. I'm still trying to figure that out.
So this one, it definitely has that hazy look to it. It's not transparent. It's, to me, it kind of has like a, maybe...
It's like a little hoppy, but not.
Yeah, like I say, with every time we have an IPA, it's not the potpourri dish thing where it tastes like your fucking garden and shit like that. This one almost, has a, the hops are there, but I'm almost getting like maybe like an orange kind of taste in there.
Well, I mean,
maybe
that would kind of reflect on the color,
like the fruit orange, not the color, but
yeah, well, the fruit orange will kind of give off that kind of hue.
Either like an orange. I'm getting kind of a citrusy kind of thing in there. I don't know if it's like orange or a grapefruit kind of thing, but some kind of
little tartness.
Yeah, kind of like acidic tartness going in there. You're not getting overwhelmed by the hops or anything like that. It is full, like very full flavored for an IPA. It's not like what we had. What was it, last week or the week before, where it's like, it is there, but there's really nothing that stands out. This is a full-bodied beer. It's got a,
this would go good with like a fucking steak dinner or like something like that. I like it. I think it's definitely good. It's different from, I don't know, most of the shit that I drink anyways. I'm going to go a solid 8.
A solid 8. Yeah, I'll probably go 8.25 on this one. It just seems a little low. An 8 seems a little low. 8.5 seems a little high. So I figured to split the difference. Yeah, it's definitely. If you like your hazy IPAs, this is definitely one to pick up. If IPAs are your game, you're one of those hipster dudes. This is right up your alley.
Aging Danny Velick.
Yeah, this. If you're an IPA or even a craft beer guy. This, I think this will sit really good with you. The flavor, there's a lot of flavor in it.
Or if you're like trying to get into the craft beers. This might be a
Yeah,
good
you
intro
know,
beer.
so, you know, yeah, there's a lot more beers that are a lot crazier in the IPA space. You know, this is right up the middle, you know, a very well executed, right up the middle IPA. You know, you're not getting blown away by everything, but at the same time, it is very full flavored and there's a lot of flavor there, but you're not getting blown away by any one thing.
For sure.
So yeah, definitely a good one. Pick it up. I got this at B&B Beer and Wine in Chesterfield, Michigan. I think you can probably look up online where they pick up Austin Brothers stuff. They got a lot of Austin Brothers at B&B.
So what was the damage on it?
After taxes, it was about $16.
Yeah, that's really not bad.
You know, so it's probably like 12 or $13
Tall
before taxes.
cans, not a bad
You
deal.
know, for 4 pints. So it's not bad. You know,
Supports Michigan.
definitely pick it up.
I like it.
Definitely a good one. What's going on? Sherry Claire, last night's Detroit Anarchy 3 went off smashingly. I'm just recovering. I don't even drink. Yes, that was a thing. One of the many things that I wish I could have done yesterday if I wouldn't have gone so hardcore for STP and Jeff Goot. So
It happens.
all right, so I need to pull up. This is where I tell you to say something and talk while I put up another music video.
Oh,
here.
Lord. So you remember I bought that Disney Castle Lego set for Steph?
Yeah.
Yeah, she finished that.
How long did that take her?
She put a decent amount of time in it. Coming from a Lego guru, a lot of those sets like that she has, that one is the biggest set I've ever seen, except for a couple of the new ones that are coming out.
Yeah.
It was like 4,300 pieces, which is pretty damn fucking big. But since it's like a castle, not like a car, it's generally a lot easier to put together. Like with the cars, you have like moving components, and sometimes it's hard to see how things fit together.
Right.
But yeah, no, the whole build, she fucking knocked it out of the park. It looks phenomenal, and it's gigantic.
Where are you putting it?
She put it in her vanity room. She made some room in there. So we reorganized and cleaned a whole bunch of shit out of the house earlier today. It was like spring cleaning.
At the end of summer. All right, so we're going to play this music video from Adrift in Skylines. I found this over on YouTube. You can go check it out. But we're going to play their song Ashes. We'll be right back, and then we'll get on the line with Kyle Austin, the head honcho, the guitar player, his creative vision. You know, we're going to talk to him about all things Adrift in Skylines right after this, episode 115 of the Rikki ROXX Show, Rocks 100.com. All right. All right. There we go.
Dude, that was fucking sweet. It's like Dream
Wow.
Theater-esque, like 8 songs in one. It was like Angel Vivaldi with no vocals.
Yeah.
I dig the fucking shit out of it. That was super cool.
Yeah, so that was Ashes by the band Adrift and Skylines. We are going to, let me see, get Kyle Austin in here. Let's see if we can get him. Kyle, you there? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. What happened? He's there.
Oh, he's talking. Is he on mute?
He's talking. Are you muted?
How about now?
There you go. How you doing, man?
There we go. Doing good. How about you guys?
We are doing okay. We got Kyle Austin from the band Adrift and Skylines. I'm going to try getting the video up here. It punked out on me again, but we can still hear you. Take us through that song that we just played. We played Ashes. Kevin here, huge fan. You know, take us through that song.
Yeah, so Ashes is kind of a product of the pandemic, right? You know, stuck at home, got nothing but time, so hell, why not write a 9-minute song? So you know, with all my music, it's all instrumental, as I'm sure you noticed with Ashes. And for me, like I write everything with a purpose, and Ashes was kind of about the pandemic and just, you know, a lot of shit kind of fell apart for me in that time, losing family, a marriage, stuff like that. And I just encapsulated that in a song. And I think it turned out real well, real happy with it. And the video was crazy, as you guys saw too. So that was a lot of fun to make. So yeah, just a song about the chaos of our last few years, right?
So it's interesting you mention like that's how your guys' final product came to be, because generally, you know, most average people and even musicians, when they go through like traumatic stuff like that, you tend to have a lyric or like a vocalist that does lyrics. So when you're doing just an instrumental, that's got to be so much more difficult to, I guess, get across, you know, the trauma and the stuff that you went through when you're thinking from like a non-musician standpoint. Now, when you are a musician and a talented one at that, and it all sounds like you guys are all very, very talented, that's one of those things where the pain and everything comes through in the song, and that song was absolutely fucking beautiful. Like I loved every minute of it. Like, you know, you got the metal aspects of it. There's like this like rush. There's just a whole bunch of stuff there that for me as a musician, I fucking love it. Are you a fan of Angel Vivaldi by any chance?
I am. Yeah, actually,
Okay.
I was just checking out some of his new stuff he's been putting out too. I'm a big fan.
So literally, I discovered him probably 7 or 8 years ago, randomly on Pandora. And about a minute into the song, when there was no vocals, I was like, these guys are like a new Angel, which is not a bad thing. I love Angel. But you guys are doing it not like carbon copy like him. Like you're doing your own thing. I fucking love it. I absolutely love it. And I think the song was phenomenal.
Thank you.
And my question is, you know, I was telling Kevin, you know, before the show, I'm like, brace yourself. This is a lot different than we've had on this show in a long time. You know, we have, you know, your traditional, you know, 1 or 2 guitar players, singer, drummer, hard rock metal band. I'm like, this is going to be a lot different. You know, being, you know, playing the kind of music you do you find it hard to do shows, you know, like with, you know, other band, you know, because I'm imagining that in the greater Fort Wayne area, there's not a lot of bands that do what you do. You know, is it hard to play shows, you know, and do that kind of thing and maybe keep people's attention since you don't have a singer? You know, it is all, you know, soundscapes and a lot of different moving parts. You know, explain playing shows for you guys.
Yeah, it's a great question because the answer is I don't know. We're actually in rehearsals right now since the restrictions are lifting for us down in Indiana. We're finally able to get together and rehearse again. So we're just getting through our initial round of rehearsals. So we do have a couple of bands lined up, and that is the thing. We definitely are different than everything else, but by having so many of these, I don't know, random weird characteristics, we can kind of blend with whoever we want to. You know, if we want to play with rock bands one night, we can fit. If we want to play with metal bands one night, we can fit. So we are getting ready to line that up, and then we're just interested to see ourselves. As far as holding a show together, you know, we're definitely going to focus a lot on the aesthetic of it. We're going to be putting together a lot of cool stuff. We have a couple of LED walls we're going to be putting for the shows and running stuff like that to kind of have a visual aspect too. So instead of having a frontman kind of controlling it, we'll use, you know, screens and TVs and stuff to do it. So it'll be cool to see how it plays out. I'm really excited to see how that turns out and hopefully bring it up to the Detroit area here soon.
You're going to hear me reference Angel quite a few times throughout this interview, and it's not a bad thing. I thought, like, when I first heard him, I was like, and I saw, like, I started following him on Facebook and Twitter and all that. I was like, I'm really interested to see how this band performs live. Because without having a vocalist, I figured you're going to have, like, you know, the musicians in the crowd that are, like, super, like, nerdy about, you know, guitars and drums. Like, they're a very technically astute band. But there was so many fucking people there that you could tell were just, like, average fans. And it was fucking packed. The one beauty you guys have, and I feel like Angel's band kind of paved the way a little bit to showing that this is a viable thing, that you can build a huge following just based on, like, doing playthrough videos and posting those on YouTube and gaining a fan base that way. not like an original band where it's, you know, maybe a little more driven by the vocals and the front man. You guys can put a lot more time and effort into your product and then not focusing on showcasing that part. And you can kind of do the video. Like your guys' video was really well done. There are a few things I personally think could have been done better, but as a new band or a newish band, I think the whole overall product and video was phenomenal. But it's definitely doable. I'd be really interested to see the kind of stuff you can incorporate with it. Like you said, that light wall. Like there's a lot of stuff you could do, but when you have a performance like that and everybody on stage is, you know, vibing and moving, you know, that feel is something you can't just replicate with lights and shit. Like the fans and the people in the crowd will dig it. And I mean, I was sitting there bobbing my head, tapping my foot like the whole fucking song. So you definitely have a good like formula of like how you guys wrote it just based off that one song. I fucking loved it. So I'd be really interested to see what you guys do moving forward.
Yeah, and it'll be fun again seeing how it plays out. And you know, we are a pretty energetic bunch, and it will be cool, I think, for people to see. You know, it's very rare to see a saxophone in a band like this, or you know, the guitar and all that stuff. So I think people will get into that. But the cool thing about instrumental music and like using Angel as an example, it's, you know, it's cool because you can listen to it, and I don't have to give you words for you to figure out what the song's about. You know, it's kind of like a build your own adventure kind of thing. You can pick what the song means to you, and I think a lot of normal people, if you will, can associate to instrumental stuff because they can listen to it and attach it to whatever they need it to be, you know, whether it be a personal thing in their life or a moment or whatever's going on, you know. So I think that's a big appeal. Like Angel, for me, when I heard him for the first time, it's, you know, I have no idea what he wrote Murcury and Summer about, but I listened to it and I took what I needed from it, and, you know, that inspired me. So I just try to do the same with my stuff.
Dude, that's a really good point I didn't even think about. Because there's no vocals, you don't necessarily have to, like country, oh, my wife left me, blah, 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 I crashed my car. There's people that can relate to that, but when it's just auditory, there's no vocals, you could be, oh, I got pulled over and I got a ticket, and then hear that guitar or whatever. Like, there could just be any point in your life, and that just instant it will click. I, honest to God, never thought about that. That's really inspiring.
And a question I had, kind of, you know, riding that, you know, you guys, at what point, because you know, you put this whole thing together, you know, what made you go this route as opposed to maybe the more tried and true, you know, drummer, bass player, guitar player, singer formula, and then decide, no, I want a guitar and a saxophone player, and I want to write 10-minute long soundscapes?
I feel like that's a Craigslist ad gone wrong.
You know, at what point, you know, how did you decide to go this route?
Yeah, so the singer one's an easy to answer. It's simply a convenience thing. Now, I've worked with some phenomenal singers in my life. I'm not a good one. I'm a good backup singer. I can nail some Madonna at karaoke, but
we've all done
it's so it's just a convenience. You know, I knew I could play guitar. I knew I could write melodies. So not having a singer was more just the convenience of not having to rely on someone else. As far as everything else goes, you know, the music is such a weird niche thing that it draws attention to people that are into that. And so when I moved to Fort Wayne and started focusing on the band and pulling it together, you know, the guys I have now kind of just got attracted to it by the nature of it being so different. And, you know, it's, you know, hey, you're doing this kind of weird instrumental guitar stuff. How do you think sax would sound? Well, let's find out. I don't know. It might be cool, it might not be, but let's see. And then it turns out awesome, you know. And then the synthesizers, when I met my synth player, Mike, I noodle with synths. I had synths in my stuff before, but, you know, he's like a college educated guy, and I said, hey, what would you do for synths on this? And then he writes these beautiful orchestrations of things. I'm like, cool, great, awesome, let's do that. And then we just roll with it. And then same thing, just we keep trading this music and people just listen to it and seem to get drawn to it. So, you know, we just kind of roll with it.
See, I think what I think's super cool is like a lot of metalcore, they incorporate synthesis, like, you know, Asking Alexandria, like they plug that shit in all the time. But like you guys are doing it in a more pure, not metal way that I think like just kind of, even if you're into like the metalcore stuff like I am, you're gonna kind of be drawn to this just because the overall sound and experience is similar, but it's so different. And then throwing the fucking saxophone in. I mean, I was a huge Dave Matthews Band fan for a very, very long time, and just some of the shit that you can do with it, it's not you can't do it without that instrument. And when it's well done, it's well done. And I thought it sounded really, really fucking cool. Like, just the overall production quality, the levels of everything, it all flowed really good. It felt so natural. It was literally an experience. What'd you say? It was 9 minutes?
Yeah, it's a bit of a marathon. It's our longest song yet. Our other songs aren't that long, so.
Are there plans to go longer?
We'll see. We'll take that one as it comes.
But I mean, you guys even have like little breakdown parts in it, and there's a lot to like. I mean, I play country, I play metal. For me, it's like the buffet of like music. Like there was so much shit there that I loved. But I got to give you guys a ton of credit. That's really, really badass stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's the cool perk of the project too, is that, you know, when the project came together, when I started piecing this thing together as like a solo thing a couple of years back, the whole idea was it to be whatever I wanted. If I wanted a rock album, I could do a rock album, or a metal, or a hardcore, or an ambient synth pop album. You know, that was the magic of this project, is that I could do whatever I wanted. And then just starting to actually learn how to blend all that together into this weird concoction of a smoothie. It's an experience and an adventure, but it's cool. It's working out really well, and you know, we're pretty happy with it so far.
Well, with all that said, you know, how, you know, as far as songwriting goes, how does this all work out in the band? Because we were talking about songwriting, you know, earlier in the show, and it's hard enough to write verse, chorus, bridge, guitar solo and ending. You know, when you're putting together stuff like this, is it just you saying, "Hey, here's the new song," or is it
let's take a bunch of acid and write a 9-minute song?
Or is it a you know, how do you go about writing this kind of stuff?
Yeah, so you know, it's a lot of just little ideas here and there. You know, Ashes is a good example of a song where, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 of the different sections were all little bits that I had written down over the years. Just, I have this 20-second idea, put it on a notepad, or you know, save it on an iPhone memo or whatever, you know, and then, you know, you have all these pieces, then it becomes a puzzle, you know, putting the pieces where you want them and then filling in the gaps. So that's pretty much how our songwriting process goes. You know, I'll have a general couple riffs, kind of put it in some kind of structure, some kind of placement, you know, designate this will be a chorus, a verse, whatever. And then, yeah, just connecting the pieces, putting in transitions, and then, you know, how do I feel right now? Will a breakdown be cool? Or, you know, let's go mid-2000s Chiodos right here. Cool, sweet, sounds good, you know, and then just piecing that all together.
Steve Ingel in the chat, our fan from Mississauga, Ontario, he says, sounds a little like Rush's Subdivisions and Gary Newman mixed in. Don't mind this at all. Pretty good stuff. Good choice here. You know, who are some influences for you as a guitar player and the other guys in the band? Because there's a lot, you know, even in just that one song, you know, where are you guys pulling your influences from?
That's a big fun part of it too, is that we're all very different people musician wise. You know, for me, I grew up downriver Detroit, so I came from like a classic rock background. So Van Halen, The Who, Stooges, Rolling Stones, The Beatles, stuff like that. And then, you know, I think when I was a kid, just starting high school, you know, System of a Down had just released Toxicity and all that stuff. So I got into that. So I kind of come from that, you know, classic rock / early 2000s thing, whereas my sax player is 100% traditional. I mean, it's Michael Brecker, it's Kenny G, it's all of that stuff. And then my keyboard player is like a 90s prog guy. So it's Dream Theater, it's Genesis, it's Yes, it's
got a little bit of
all of that. Yeah, you know, and then yeah, they're like the modern guitar players too. We take a lot of influence from. So Angel Vivaldi, Pliny, Aaron Marshall from Intervals. You know, these are all bands that we listen to a lot and say, oh, that's cool. Let's see if we can incorporate that kind of vibe into what we do.
So you said you were from downriver and then you relocated to Fort Wayne?
Step up.
Yeah.
Big step up.
Without going into too much personal stuff. What?
Yeah, actually, I left Detroit when I was 18, so that'd been 2013, and I actually went out to South Dakota. I went about 1,000 miles west. And I lived out there forever. I thought that was great. I did most of my touring bands out there, my big bands, my start into music was really out there. And then Fort Wayne, I had a job opportunity, and living so far away from family for so long, it was just nice to be drivable again.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I said, fuck it, let's just go,
There you go. Sometimes you just send it.
So what's the music scene like in South Dakota? You said you did a lot of your touring and a lot of musical stuff out there. What's the scene like? I don't hear a lot of bands, coming out of South Dakota.
South Dakota, baby.
heavy metal. Some of the heaviest shit I've ever heard.
Well, there's not much to do there, I'd imagine. Like tipping cows and just getting
More or less.
shit-faced wasted and writing brutal metal.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what it was. I went there kind of not knowing what to expect either. I thought I was going out there and I was going to have to learn how to play the banjo. But within a week of living there, I joined a power metal band. And that was my first touring band I was in.
No shit.
Yeah, so it was just crazy. I wasn't expecting that at all, but some killer bands out there, amazing musicians out there. Definitely a cool scene.
So you talk about touring, what kind of touring did you do while you're out there? Because, I have the map in my head of the United States, and
13 hours this way, 10 hours
it's not like you got a lot of big cities, within a drivable range of anywhere in South Dakota. You gotta do some traveling out there. What was your touring experience like out there?
Yeah, everything was. I lived in the biggest town in South Dakota, which was Sioux Falls. So I was about 4 hours southwest of Minneapolis. I was 3 hours north of Omaha, Nebraska.
That's not bad.
So a lot of stuff like that. Or Kansas City. It's about a 6-hour drive. So we would do Kansas City, Omaha, Nebraska, Sioux City, Iowa. There's a Hard Rock there we would play. Minneapolis, of course. And then we did some stuff where we came out this way too. Chicago, Detroit. Actually, Kevin, I think that's where we met. I booked a show with you for Simons, I think, for a band once.
What band?
Oh, shit. What band? Yeah.
That would have been 2018. That would have been Type Omega.
Type Omega. Man, that was a while ago. Fuck. It doesn't ring a bell. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, like we did a lot of stuff like that. But mainly it was a lot of Iowa.
Okay.
Des Moines, Iowa, Sioux City, Omaha, Nebraska, all that kind of area.
It's funny since you brought that up, because I remember I worked with On My Six, and they were from Chicago, and then I worked with another band in Wisconsin, and most people think, South Dakota, there's nothing there, but Sioux Falls was always like a spot I could always get shows in.
Yeah.
And as soon as you said that, I was like, I finally get the globe fucking spun around, and I was like, oh yeah, they're not in the middle of BFE. But one question I had for you, and this is probably looking way further ahead, but like, have you guys thought of doing maybe a concept album? Like Devil Wears Prada did, Zombies and the Zombie 2 one. Like, with your guys' style of music, I feel like you could literally almost paint like a picture or do a movie of whether it's 5, 6, 7, 8 songs, however you want to fucking break it down. But like, your guys' music allows that opportunity. Or even if it was 3 or 4 songs, where you could do like 3 or 4 videos for each song and have it be like this big production. Like, is that anything on your guys' radar?
100%. And that's something I brought up when the band started working on our first EP. I like to be prepared as far ahead as I can. So I've already got the next 2 albums planned out in my head. And yeah, so for concepts, I've always loved writing conceptually. I think it's just fun, and it helps me actually give me direction. If I can think, I need to paint a picture about this scenario, it's easier for me. So kind of sticking with the namesake of the band, Adrift and Skylines, I actually want to do concepts around cities, in time, both real and in fiction.
Okay.
And like one idea that I've talked about a lot is I really want to do one about the Emerald City from Wizard of Oz.
Ooh.
So like a Wizard of Oz concept album, so you throw in the Pink Floyd influence, you throw in some really weird shit in there. Dude, I think it'd be fun.
This is badass. So we need to find someone like you around here, man. No, like I give a lot.
He was around here,
right? No, I give a lot of credit to musicians that look that in depth and try and write with that sense of like feeling. Because I mean, Ricky and I have both been in tons of bands, and a lot of the time, and I'm not poo-pooing any people I've been a part of, but it's just one of those things where you could tell some of them are just writing to write. Whereas, like, you're writing to, like, blow people's fucking minds and, like, invigorate some sort of mental, like
response
where it's like, oh my god, this is fucking beautiful, not instead of, oh, let's just write you know, like just the most gnarly shit ever. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but I just get like your whole body feels that emotion when you hear that music like that certain way. And like there's certain bands, like when you hear that song, like it just invokes that wherever you were the first time you heard it, like it almost takes you back like in a fucking time machine. And this is the kind of music that does that for me, not only from a drumming standpoint, but just because I love music and I love so many different genres, and I hear it's like a fucking buffet. Oh, you got metal here, you got jazz here, you got a little this, and this. For me, I fucking love the shit out of it because I always try to throw that little shit in whenever I can, but you guys did it in such a perfect way where it flows so nicely, and that's not easy to pull off.
Yeah, for sure. And it's, you know, for me, music was never one of those things where I just put it on in the background as something to listen to, right? And there's people out there that, you know, music is for parties, music is for casual listening. That's totally cool. For me, music was something that, you know, saved my life. And there's other people out there like this too, where, you know, I had dark days and certain songs, certain bands pulled me out of that and, you know, gave me that reason or that drive to go to the next day. So for me, that's my goal. I'm not in this to make money or get chicks or anything like that. I'm in this because music saved my life, and I hope that I can translate that and hopefully help other people down the road if needed, you know? So if that's writing weird, you know, 10-minute songs that help someone who just can't explain what he's going through, help him explain it, cool. You know, and I've done my job, you know? So that's my goal.
So, you know, writing this kind of stuff, you know, do you feel like, is there any part of you that's like, oh man, it would be nice to write a song that I guess you would say that could be played on radio, you know, because, you know, let's be completely honest, 10-minute long or, you know, arrangements with no vocals. Are you ever going to hear this on FM radio? Are you going to hear this, you know, you got to pretty much build like an underground, like quasi cult following to take this, you know, and make it a big thing, you know, because, you know, FM radio support won't, I mean, not to kind of poop on it.
Unless you have a bag of money, they won't touch it.
Yeah. This is stuff that you're not going to hear on your afternoon drive on your way home from work. You know, is there a part of you that's like, well, maybe let's just throw a song in there and follow the formula. You know, let's, you know, next time we put out an album, let's do a hidden track somewhere that maybe the mainstream guys
do a Cheech and Chong song like Korn did, you know?
You know, that, you know, has there ever been that kind of thought process? Because I you know, like Kevin said, we've been in a lot of bands, and I'd be jamming with the band and be like, yo, ain't nobody gonna play this thing on the damn radio. Ain't nobody wanna sit through your mindless noodling, you know, guitar player. You know, is there a part of you that was like, well, we're all creative enough. Let's try writing a 3.5-minute single.
Absolutely. And it's, you know, my response to that is I encourage everyone to check out the rest of the material that's out there, because Ashes is a cool piece that stands out for how weird and unique it is. But, you know, the rest of that album specifically, I mean, I've got 80s synth pop tunes on it that are like 2 minutes long. There's a song on that album called Restless that I think is just a masterpiece, one of my best songs I've ever done. And that's kind of in that 4 to 5 minute range. So yeah, there's definitely material in the catalog that we're doing that fits that bill a bit more. Mm-hmm. It's still weird. I mean, it's not necessarily going to be verse, chorus all the time, but there is, you know, stuff that's more traditional, I would call it, you know, within the catalog that we're doing. So,
I mean, if you would have asked me like 7-8 years ago, or even approached me with this kind of style with no vocals, I would have said, yeah, you're probably not looking at a lot of mainstream success. But I mean, like Lindsay Stirling, right? She does the violin stuff. I mean, Angel. It's like super niche, but at the same time, when you have the right people involved, like, I still think sky's the limit. It is very niche, but I still feel like this kind of shit has so much potential, and you're gonna find a lot of casual listeners, but I feel like you're gonna find a lot of musicians more so that are just gonna eat the living shit up out of this kind of music. And that's almost a better fuel for the fire, because people that are involved in music tend to have connections, and I'm not saying that's the end goal, but I think it's not as bad doom and gloom, like, oh, we're never going to be able to make a cent off of it. I know you said, yeah, you're not in it for the money, but like from a business standpoint, you're going that ultimate unique factor where if you do hit it right at the right time, it could be epically amazing. Steve Engel from Mississauga did have a couple questions in the chat that we wanted to throw out to you. He wanted to know, what were your musical influences? He says he hears Rush and Gary Newman.
Yep. Yeah, so Rush is definitely in there. You know, if I had to give you like a top 3, if you will, the biggest ones in my life are going to be Van Halen, Cody and Cambria from New York, and probably the guitarist Plenty, another instrumental guitarist out there. Those are my big 3.
Okay.
But, you know, I'm one of those guys that can give you a whole smorgasbord of bands that I'm into, you know?
Yeah, we're all that way. He also said, have you ever listened to any Emerson, Lake, and Palmer?
Yep. Listen to a lot of Emerson, Lake, and Palmer.
He grew up in Detroit, man. Of course he knows ELP.
Hey, Steve wanted to know, so we gotta ask these questions.
For sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's growing up in the house I did, you know, there was music on all the time. I came from a musical family, so it was always, you know, the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Elvis, Motown. I listened to Motown, you know, like all of us, you know, my entire life growing up. So yeah, absolutely.
I have one request. I want to hear a nice brutal breakdown with that saxophone, like some chopped up double bass and just the saxophone going crazy. If you can incorporate that one way, that's all I ask.
Actually, ask and you shall receive. We just recorded our new single. That'll be on our new album coming out here around Thanksgiving time, and we have exactly that. We hired Nick DiVirgilio to play drums on that track. If you're familiar with him from like Spock's Beard, or he played in Genesis for a little bit in the 90s. We got him on there for drums, and we nailed a pretty fucking gnarly breakdown with baritone sax and everything in it. So it's pretty cool. So
do you not have a permanent drummer?
Right now, no. I'm actually in the market. So, you know, we've been doing a lot of just hiring people in. You know, it might come across weird that it's kind of hard to find people that want to commit the time to learning these weird songs.
That's fair. I could get that. Yeah.
You know, I've had a couple people express interest in the band, but it comes down to, okay, cool, I need you to learn an hour's worth of material, and I need you ready by 2 weeks' time. And it's, you know, it's hard to get people to commit to that, you know?
No, that's fair. Hey, if you need a studio drummer for a track, I would fucking do it in a heartbeat, man.
We'll talk. Oh, we'll talk.
Cool. This interview made my fucking day, dude. No, like, honestly, I love this kind of stuff because it's not your normal stuff, but there's so much talent and feel in it. Hey, I would just love to be a part of it just for that sole point. Like, that would be fun.
Look at Kevin. There's very few bands we'll talk to on here where Kevin's like, hey, man, drummer. Hi.
Well, I can't tell Matt from August Burns Red, like, hey, let me replace you. But no, like, with you guys bringing something so fresh and new to the table, like, we interview a lot of bands, we hear a lot of music, and not to discredit any other bands, but this is definitely more different and right up my fucking alley. Like, there's just a lot to like. That's all I'm going to say. There's a lot to like.
Wow. Definitely appreciate that. And yeah, I'm actually downriver this weekend for the holiday, and I've actually been checking out studios. We're hoping to start recording in the area. Yeah, we'll talk.
Hell yeah, man.
Oh, look at
that. Making moves.
Look at Kevin. So, you know, this is usually something Kevin will bring up, but he's too busy plugging his dumb ass to play drums. You know, he'll usually ask, you know, so what are your plans for touring? You know, your social media, you know, are you really big into the social media thing? Touring, social media, content. You know, what do you guys, you know, because you're relatively new, and you know, are you guys going to be doing more videos for these songs? Because, you know, that video we saw was like, man, I kind of want to take mushrooms and watch this and just see what the hell happens. You know, is there more of that kind of stuff in the pipeline? You know, touring, you know, you guys are hop, skip, and jump away from here, you know, and you're a lot closer to a lot more big cities than you were in wherever in South Dakota.
Right.
You know, so what's the plan for you guys?
Yeah, so social media, I've been working on kind of getting that all collaborated together. I don't think I mentioned earlier, but we are signed to a label called Crazy Poet out of Denver, and they've been helping me kind of get everything put together. As far as touring goes, once we are show ready, which we should be ready here in about a month or so time, we are planning to start doing, you know, a couple weekends here and there, up to here, Chicago, probably St. Louis, probably a Nashville weekend, stuff like that. As far as long-term touring, we don't have anything on the books quite yet, but I know the label does want to do some showcase stuff out in Denver, so we are planning to attend that when that happens. And then videos, absolutely. Yeah, we're already working on a couple of videos. We already have storyboards for a couple new videos, and we're doing some location scouting. We're trying to get our hands into some old abandoned aircraft hangars for some cool shit, and it's gonna be cool. We got some cool stuff lined up.
Yeah, I think realistically, like taking a page out of Angel's book of like putting together, what was the video they shot in the freezer, Murcury and Winter or whatever?
Murcury and Winter, yeah.
Dude, like that video, so dope, so badass. And it's not to take away from what you guys are doing, but you kind of need to have that kind of a badass video because you don't have the fallback of the vocals and the lyrics for people to kind of attach to. So instead of that vocal sensation that they're going to be hearing audibly, you need to visually like stimulate them, which the music does, but you got to have, that killer fucking video to do it. But yeah,
because we all know my attention span's about 10 seconds. So if I didn't have a music video to watch,
right,
it would have been hard pressed for me to make it through the whole 10 minutes.
Well, and then, I mean, even
fair.
your average music listener, if they see, 10 minutes, but if they see some HD fucking 4K shit, like blowing their fucking minds, like they just ate a fucking 10 hits of acid, they're gonna be, oh man, this band's fucking killer. So, but yeah, no, I mean, it's all process though, and like for being a relatively new band though, you're nailing it on the production of the actual music content part of it. And I mean, all the other stuff, you can figure that out. Like if the music's butchered from the first step, then you're kind of fucked. But I would say you're off to the races in a good way.
Yeah, for sure. And we're definitely feeling really positive about it. And we've been investing a lot into new camera gear because we actually do it all internally. Our videos we shoot ourselves. We don't hire people out. Everything we do, we produce and mix ourselves. Hell, we recorded that first album. We recorded Ashes in our house.
No shit. Wow.
So.
Yeah, like my only critiques with the video, and they were very minor, like the overall, like even Ricky was like, damn, this green screen work is like really fucking good. Super solid. I would say just like the choice of wardrobe, and that's just me being nitpicky. And then just there's a couple shots that just look shot amateur, as I'm using air quotations, but the overall video, I mean, fuck, dude, I've seen way worse. Trust me.
I actually watched the whole thing, and it's 10 minutes long. Usually I'd be like, oh, this is a 10-minute song. I can go take a piss break.
Well, Ricky's going to take a piss break during the second solo.
I can go to the bathroom and grab a slice of pizza, and this song will still be going. But, Kevin will tell you, I actually sat here and watched the whole damn thing, which... For my ADD ass is saying something.
Well, you don't know how many times there would be a break and Ricky's like, all right, the song's done. And then like you guys were doing the bloop, bloop, bloop thing. And then like the next time it came to a drop, like I kept hearing the rim clicks and Ricky's like, all right, I think the song's done. And then it kicked back and I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
All right. So
yeah, and it's.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah. And then the video too, it's got a bunch of memes and inside jokes all throughout it too. There's like 3 or 4 Twin Peak memes in there. I mean, there's just crazy shit all over that video that we just thought we'd have a blast with.
See, that's cool. Like you're leaving little nuggets, like even almost Easter eggs. So you're going to have to watch the video 15, 20 times before you actually fully get it. And, for me, mad respects. I'm going to go watch it probably 5 more times when I get home. Straight up.
Right on.
I'll have a couple beers while I'm doing it.
You can probably have a case of beer if you're going to listen to it 5 or 6 times.
Right.
So we've got a couple more minutes with you. Is there anything you want to shout out? Anything that we missed that you want to touch on? And to everybody in the chat, yes, we know the video died, but the audio's still going, so we're rolling with it. Yeah, we know. So anything you want to throw out there? Anything that we missed?
I think we basically covered most of it. Like anything, just check out the tunes. Let me know what you think. Any feedback's good. If you think it sucks, tell me it sucks. If you think it's cool, tell me it's cool. I'm all about it.
I mean, you got 2 musicians over here that are definitely digging it. So I think you're definitely on the right path, and there haven't been any negative comments in the chat. So that's also a plus.
That is a plus.
Kevin, you got anything, Kev?
I think he was gonna try and plug some stuff.
Oh yeah,
take it away.
Keep plugging.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, I was just going to say outside of that, I mean, we have a new album coming out around Black Friday. Should be Black Friday. And, yeah, that's basically it. And then just keep posted for shows. I'll be sharing shows on Facebook as soon as we start getting some confirmations.
Hell yeah, dude.
There
Well,
it is.
hey, you know, we're always out trying to help bands, so if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to Ricky or myself. But yeah, dude, we really like what you guys are putting out. We're stoked to see and hear, you know, everything else that comes out. So when you get that new video, you know, we can do the world premiere for you.
Sounds good.
And last thing I have 3 more songs here queued up, and I'll let you pick the song that we're going to play after we let you go. Either there's Epoch, Relentless, or I can't even say this word. It starts with an A and it's something Aqua.
Aqualus.
There it
yeah,
is.
let's do Restless. So Restless is a great song. It's a song I wrote about a friend from Detroit here who actually took his life, unfortunately. But that's one of my more proud pieces. And, you know, we even get into more genres in that song. We even touch symphonic metal in that song. So, yeah, I would say play that one out.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Oh, and before we let you go, Kyle, Sherry, Claire, and John totally say hi.
Sherry's the best. Sherry and John have always been the best. So
She gave me my start in booking shows, so I can thank her for my rampant alcoholism.
Look at that. It's like going full circle. She got Ricky into this, and now, you know, connecting with us. It's a beautiful thing.
yeah, Sherry's usually been my go-to for shows for the last probably 10 years now. And hell, John broke me into music scene when I was 16 years old. So
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
There it is. All right.
Awesome, man.
All right, Kyle, we're going to let you go, and we're going to play Restless here, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, take it easy.
Take it easy, man.
Have a good night, guys.
You too. All right, that was Kyle Austin.
Do we know what the video issue was? Or
No idea.
Oh,
The
well.
audio was coming through.
No, it was super clear, too.
Yeah, I don't know. Just at some point it was it stopped and then it kicked on for a second and then stopped again. So it might be Comcastic. I'm gonna have to call them in the
Probably.
morning.
Are you using a VPN?
I don't know.
Okay, if you don't know,
I have no
you're not.
fucking idea
Okay,
if I am or not.
disregard that.
Okay, so let me end this here. And so we're going to play. God, I'll update it later. Leave me alone. All right, so yeah, we know that also the chat disappeared. It disappears when I go from music videos or anything else back to it. So we're going to play Restless by Adrift and Skylines, and we're going to come back, close this thing out. Maybe I'll go see Soulfly. I don't.
Why
think
am I not surprised?
I'm
by that?
not. I'm not going. I'm
Yeah,
staying.
you are.
All right, so we're gonna play this, and then we'll be this. He actually picked the longest song I had queued up. So
What is it, like 22 minutes?
No, it's 6 minutes.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, so
I
we're
can smoke a cigarette.
we're gonna play this, and
That's why I like bands like this. I get to smoke a cigarette and then come back and not miss it.
All right, so we'll be right back after this. Thank you so much to Kyle from Adrift and Skylines. Good interview. We're going to wrap this up when we come back. Kevin's going to go get a smoke. I'm going to continue to vape and drink this awesome beer by Austin
You just
Brothers
need
Beer
a Subaru,
Company.
man.
Did I?
You just need a Subaru.
No.
I'm going to drink my beer and vape.
Okay, we'll be
Yeah.
right back.
Rocks100.com.
and hopefully because now my computer's starting to slow down. So hopefully we're sounding okay.
When was the last time you rebooted?
I just turned it on. So hopefully you can hear us. It's a thing. Okay. Now it's kicking back on. Now I gotta mute that. It's a thing. Like my computer's starting to go slow again. So I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Well, I work in IT.
Well, then I'm going to have you come over one day and be like, yo, what's going on with my computer? Why is it going so damn slow?
We're on a defrag, bitch.
Oh, is that still a thing?
No, that hasn't been a thing in ages.
Oh, I'm like, damn, I didn't know defragging was still a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing. So yeah, awesome talk with Kyle Austin. We listened to Restless by the band Adrift and Skylines. What do you think, Kev? I know.
I'm such a sucker. Like, if I could start another project, which I know my wife would absolutely fucking love, I would love to do something like this just because it would be more of like a passion thing. Mm-hmm. And this is the kind of shit that I would like to do, like mix genres, have tons of different shit. I fucking personally love it.
You should get Steve Shaheen. He plays all that weird Angel Vivaldi stuff.
The funny thing is, I introduced him to Angel.
Yeah.
And like after that, it was like, he was like all into different amps and like all, which is not a bad thing by any means.
Yeah.
He's with his work schedule though.
Passion project, bro. You ain't taking that.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, enough bands that want to go on the road. All right. So what were some cool takeaways you took away from that talk from Kyle?
I mean, the whole story is actually just overall kind of cool. I mean, he was from here, moved to fucking South Dakota, started this during COVID, and he writes music that has no vocals and can evoke like such an emotional response, which I think that's even more difficult because like if you have someone that writes, well, if you have a band, right, that writes just really good music, and me as a drummer, the first thing I always take in is like the drums, obviously, but obviously I'll hear the guitar, the bass, the vocals. You know, when there's subject matter that like touches you, it does whatever it does.
Yeah.
And for them to not have any vocals at all and to be able to encapsulate that same kind of feeling it's special. I mean,
and it's like you don't have the singer telling you this is the emotion of this song.
Like Gone, right?
Yeah.
That George wrote.
Yeah.
You know, he wrote that in a dark place. It was based off of like real shit. And, you know, even before we play, he kind of throws that out there. So you kind of get the Cliff Notes version of, hey,
well, you
what to
kind of
expect.
already know what this song is about,
Right.
and how, but stuff like this, it totally leaves it up to the listener. Be
But
like,
I loved that
if
he said it was like a read your own adventure book. And I was like,
and I'm like,
that's super cool.
Kind of cool.
Because like I said during the interview, like you could have gotten pulled over for speeding or like blew a tire, right? And you're just hearing that riff or that breakdown or whatever. And like every time you hear it, it's kind of invoke that like, what was I going through at that moment in time?
Well, and it can mean different things to you at different times.
Exactly.
If you're like, oh man, this song came when I was in a dark spot.
Right.
And then you listen to it a year later, it can evoke a totally different
like you could be on your way to
to
the hospital for your newborn, right?
Yeah.
So it could be like, oh, I was contemplating suicide, and then like 2-3 years later I'm giving birth, and that's what I was saying when we were talking to him, is that I almost give musicians more credit for doing this because it is kind of endless how you could touch people in a certain way, and you could do it multiple times rather than like the vocals will induce this one thing and they mean this one thing, but at the same time it's really hard to encapsulate that for your average listener.
Right.
So it really walks that fine line of like mainstream or like just super underground, but at the end of the day, I love that kind of shit.
It's a tough road. I mean, I kind of hinted at it during the interview. It's a tough road with today's listener who wants everything,
but let's also
told to them and given to them on a fucking platter, not something that you need to really listen to it and digest it and make your own conclusions with it. Right. People want to know, what's this song about? Is this a good song? Is it a sad song? Happy, sad?
But let me put it to you this way though, because we've both been in bands where there are vocalists and songs are written a certain way. Is it really that much harder?
Well, you're a musician. We're musicians. We think about this differently than your casual, your normal person.
No, that's true. But let's
and we're older.
True. Let's take it down a step though. Now, if you were an average fan, right, and like
an average music listener,
and New Day was playing, right, or Mound Road or whoever, you could have subject matter that might not specifically catch that person.
Yeah,
they might go, oh, the band's okay, but like lyrically something didn't grab them. Well, what if you didn't have the vocalist and the lyrics and the music grabbed them?
So you're taking out the frontman, the center. Usually, traditionally, the focal point of the band.
Traditionally, yes.
You're taking away. When you go see a show, the thing that you're gonna look at first.
When the singer holds his mic out and the people know the words, that's like what gets most fans.
Yes. And
you don't have that
with a band like this, where people are going to shout out the guitar line,
right?
It's a lot.
You'll see a lot of this.
It's a lot. It's a lot harder road to hoe or whatever, however the hell you say it. Doing that. And it's great that they do it, and they do it really well. And there is obviously an audience for it. It's been proven that there's an audience for it. Your Angel Vivaldi, like you said, I actually went and saw him once.
I saw him at the Ritz.
That's where I saw him.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Hey, let me ask you, was that show not fucking badass?
I didn't pay much attention to it. Usually that kind of music where it's just like, instrumentalists, that have 4-minute songs and they kind of follow the same rock formula, or it's just mindless shredding for 4 minutes, I get turned off right away. Yngwie Malmsteen, I can't watch him. John Five, I can't watch him. Angel Vivaldi, I don't get it. You got to be a guitar player to enjoy that. This, on the other hand,
I don't know. Angel's drummer is fucking phenomenal, but I get what you're saying.
Music like this, like Adrift and Skylines. Okay, you have a lot of different elements. It's not just Kyle sitting there shredding and ripping out all these weird progressive guitar lines and stuff. There's and I say this in every single band, dynamic effect.
Right.
I
felt bad comparing them to Angel because they're not.
Well, you have your
they are definitely different.
You have your highs, you have your lows, you have where it almost stops and then comes back up. Like the huge dynamic range, and that's what keeps my attention. A couple times when you're playing that video, I'm like, I think it's over. I'm not sure.
It clearly kept your attention.
It keeps your attention. Is this the end of the song?
Right.
Nope. Coming back. Oh, sax solo. Okay. Guitar. It's more than just a guitar player.
Right.
Yngwie Malmsteen, he has some vocals on his, but it's predominantly based around just shredding guitar.
Right.
And John Five, as amazingly talented as he is when he does his instrumental stuff, it's pretty much just guitar. You don't have those, you have your peaks and valleys and dynamic range, but not enough to keep my attention. This is like, rather than a 3-minute song, this is like each song's a fucking journey.
Well, and that's what I dug about the most, like the fact that it had those peaks and valleys, and like every time you're like, the song's done, and then boom, fucking sax solo. I'm like, dude, this is it keeps on giving. It's awesome.
And it wasn't one of those things where, at least with the video Ashes, where it wasn't like you had verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. It was just like one arrangement,
it was a journey
going into something else, and it's not going back to anything.
Right.
It just keeps moving, and that kind of holds your attention. You're like, okay, this sounds like a verse. This is here's the chorus.
It was like a fucking story.
And then it goes into something else. You're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. It goes into something completely different. And it completely breaks down. And here's where you think a traditional guitar solo would be.
Right.
No, sir. You get a sax solo, and you get to see the guy rock the guitar.
Yep.
It's just that,
it's so real.
It's
not generic at all.
It's like you're listening to it to see how many different directions they can pull this thing. And that's what kept my attention for 10 fucking minutes.
Right.
Like you said, usually I'll run upstairs, take a piss, 10-minute song, I can grab a slice of pizza and eat it before I come back down. I threw the video on, I'm like, I need to hear what's next.
Right.
I need to hear how this evolves, how it moves. And
if you can invigorate that out of musicians, I would like to think you should be able to invigorate that same kind of response from like people that are passionate about music. Hopefully. But the thing is, given the industry that we're in, we tend to be a lot more picky than your average listener.
Yeah.
So it like I said, it walks that fine line that I think this kind of band, this specific sound could totally have big success. And I'm not saying commercial or underground, but like there is a market for that
like
kind of
that
music.
underground thing. You know, it's going to be one of those things that if you see this band blow up, it's not because you heard them on the riff.
Right.
Or you heard them on 89X. It's going to be an underground word of mouth.
Right.
You know, people that are into this just kind of spray and be like, dude, if you like Angel Vivaldi, you'll totally love this band. If you like Genesis, you'll love this band.
Here's a good example. When I worked at Stellantis' world headquarters, we had a little Bluetooth speaker. And whenever one of the other guys was gone, I would always put metal on. Obviously, I'd have to turn it down. But there would be times I would be working with users and like it would be like As I Lay Dying, like some crazy breakdowns. And they'd be like, oh man, this is awesome. And then they'd hear the and they'd be like, oh my God, like what is this shit?
Yeah.
They're doing that instrumentally without the and like all the other bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's more palatable to your average listener. And then so like you could be writing a fucking metal as fuck song, but as long as there's not the Cookie Monster, it's all gravy, baby.
This seems like the kind of band that if you went to go see them live, you know, if they're playing an hour set or 45-minute set, you go up and watch them when the band first comes out. And it's the kind of band that I feel when you sit down and watch them, and you know they're saying that they're adding all this other, you know, lights and TVs and all that, you know, have all this stuff.
It's gonna be an experience.
It seems to me that would be a thing where you're standing there watching and be like, okay, I'll check them out for a song or two.
And next thing you know, they're set.
And next thing you know, you've been standing there for a fucking hour just like experiencing it.
Yeah.
You know, and which I'm like, it's been
years.
20 years since there's been a band that's been able to hold me like that for a whole set. And I'd be like, okay, a drum solo, I'm going to go grab a beer. I'm going to go piss. I'm going to go smoke. I'm going to go do whatever.
But like, dude, that's like the perfect recipe for success.
Yeah.
Invigorating that experience.
Yeah. It's just, you know, their only downfall will be that there's no way that FM will touch it or any, you know.
How many bands do we know that have made it without FM?
Well,
or at least gone some
or
places.
have that thing where it's, you know, that commercial pop kind of thing where
you could do soundtracks for fucking Cadillac commercials. You're not gonna have to worry about cutting out the vocals. The traditional way of going about it. You're 100% right. But like, if you could be like, hey, we don't even have to edit this track. You can just cut this,
drop it right in.
You know, there's a lot of viability there. And I mean, dude, could you imagine, like, let's say some like tuner car company out in California, right?
Yeah.
They build twin turbo Huracans and they want to have some cool, brutal kind of music that's going to catch people. And they do like a 30-second YouTube video with like rolling shots. Boom. Yeah. That's the perfect fucking music for it.
You know, and that thing that says, you know, talking about, and we didn't get to get into publishing and all that stuff, but you know, music like this, you know, like you said, you can just drop it in somewhere. Whereas if you're like in a rock band, you got to take the vocals out. Yeah. Now you have big dips,
or you got a credit or censor.
Yeah.
Like the swear words and shit.
You know, so, you know, that's definitely a route. It's not, you know, if this band's going to go, it's not going to be that traditional route where you're getting the record deal and we're going to push this shit out to radio.
Well, he straight up said that's not what they're about. Now, we've all been there and said that. I do think a band like this, though, given the fact that he's like, hey, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. They're staying true to the music. They're staying true to what they want to do.
It's a different road they got to take.
But I think the fact that they're just going to, providing they stay true to their guns, they're going to be happy either way, because it's like they went into this knowing what they're doing ain't going to make them $1 million.
I don't know. You know,
but it could.
If you do that publishing right and you get enough, you know, that's where your money is in publishing.
True.
And since you brought that up, I'm like, oh, well, if this band gets to know, you know, the record label will be like, yo, don't try getting us on FM. Get us publishing deals. Get us in commercials.
But that's the beauty of it. They can literally dictate.
Get us a video game soundtrack.
They can dictate where they want to go way easier. Like George and Eden Casting, right?
Yeah.
Do we go country? Do we do this? They don't have to worry about that because there's no vocals. There's no content vocally that, oh, we can't touch this.
Yeah.
Oh, that guitar solo shreds too much. It can't be in Doom.
You don't have to censor or do any of that to instrumental.
Take out those bell hits. You know,
Yeah.
like you don't have to run into that. So it's a different path, but it doesn't mean it's an easier path.
Yeah.
But either way, what they're doing is great, man. I think
Very
it's really,
cool.
really good stuff. I'm glad you found this.
He came to me.
Well, either way, I'm glad they messaged you.
I'm glad this happened.
I like these kinds of switch ups. Like we interview and play tons and tons of bands, but this is on that level of just like so unique, so different, and it's fucking good. Any of the listeners, if you hate it, whatever, fuck you. I don't give a shit.
Wow.
I personally really, really like this, and it's something I haven't heard like this unique in a minute.
Wow.
So there you have it.
And Kevin might be drumming on a new Adrift and Skylines.
Hey, we'll see.
We'll see.
To be completely honest, though, to just go and do one track with a band like this, I would love to do shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, like rappers have like guest rappers and shit. I would love to just play fucking, oh, I did a track here, I did a track there. You know, I would love to do that shit. But
Hop on stage with them, they come through.
Hey, that'd be
Guest
cool too.
drummer Kevin Razlog.
I mean, if they get a permanent drummer, I wouldn't want to do that to him. But
Yeah, you
if
would.
he signed off and said, hey, yeah, let him play this track, I'd fucking do it. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, look at this.
Hey,
Kevin's got drummer boner.
We're here to build connections and relationships with the people, man.
Look at this.
It just so happened this one touched me on a different level.
Wow. Now I feel awkward sitting here because you're talking about touching yourself.
Oh, Jesus, Ricky.
And we were talking about BBC cucks earlier.
You
Jeez,
were.
This is going
fuck.
down south. All right, so we're
Speaking of going down south, we're wrapping the show up with a band called Shot Down South.
Oh, I was
God,
like,
come on, man.
I was like, wow, is this party still going after we get
Jesus
off
Christ.
air? You know,
You couldn't even do the segue properly. My God.
I forgot.
Yeah, you forgot.
All right, so why did you want? Kevin picked this one. Why did you pick this particular band?
So they do video game themed songs, like they did Doom. The song we're about to listen to, Wander. The whole. Just go on YouTube, search "Shot Down South Wander." They did it based on like a video game. I'm not like a game nerd on PC, so I don't want to fuck any of that up. But I kind of got the same vibe when I watched the Wander video, that you were going through an experience and a journey, just like these guys. And I feel like it's very apropos and like fits. Because you were saying, I have no idea what to fit them
I had
with.
no idea. I was scrolling through hundreds of songs, and I'm like, I have nothing.
And when
to
we were
play.
listening to their song before we interviewed Kyle, I was like, dude, this is like Rainbow Road on Mario Kart,
yeah,
but like the metal instrumental version.
with the sax and guitar.
Yeah. So we're basically following that up with like the video game equivalent with vocals. I would say for me, this fits like Zelda. Like some Zelda game, this song kind of fits the game.
All right.
So we went from no vocals, story that you just write in your head, to another story that has vocals.
All right. So we're going to play that. Next week, we will not be here because Kevin and I will both be in Virginia.
Notice you don't talk shit now.
Reeling in our glory of our 20 minutes of fame at Blue Ridge Rock Festival. The week after that, it might be tough because we supposedly have a show at 5:30 with casting next Sunday. We supposedly play at 5:30, so we'd literally have to come right from the show, maybe have time to grab a shower and get here. So do you want to do it on September 19th or have 2 weeks off?
Let's see what the listeners say.
Because
If you say we need a show,
All right.
How about this? Put an F in the chat if we need to do that.
All right,
show.
so no, I'm going to throw this one out there because Sherry actually had me book this show because we have a guest supposedly for September 19th. We're supposed to be talking to Josie Pace. And she was going to promote her Machine Shop show, but that Machine Shop show got canceled.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if Josie Pace still wants to do the interview. If
Right.
she does, I'll hustle my ass back and
So
and
let's do
but-
this. See if they want to do it.
Yeah.
And if they want to, we'll do it. And if not, we can reschedule or do whatever.
All right. So we're going to get out of here. I got to pee. And because I didn't, usually the song breaks, I take my pee break. I didn't get to do it. So I've been sitting out here
8-minute song.
Yeah, so the pee is real. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, hit your notifications on YouTube, spread the word to your friends, because the only way we can get this music out to more and more people and expose these awesome bands is with your help.
And let's be honest, we do this so you guys can hear good music. We don't play shit music.
We have.
Well,
but
yeah,
we try not to.
But the Pump It or Dump It dictates that.
Yeah.
Aside from that, we play good music.
All right. So Sherry said, yeah, let me make sure Josie wants to do it. So we'll find out later. Sherry, hit me up. Getting out of here, going to play some Shot Down South and their song Wander. Talk to you guys probably in a couple weeks.
If not, follow the Facebook page for updates.
There you go. All right. Talk to you guys later.
Peace.
Ricky rocks, Ricky rocks. It's Ricky Rocks, coming out of the box. Bitches come in flocks, trying to steal his jocks. He needs to be contained with padded rocks. It's the Ricky Rock Show, spreading like the pox. Ricky rocks, Ricky rocks. Ricky rocks, Ricky rocks, yeah. Ricky rocks, Ricky rocks. Ricky rocks, Ricky rocks, yeah.
Ricky rocks up in your grill, motherfucker.
Hey, this is Ricky Rocks, and you are listening to Rocks 100.com.